Aging is inevitable, but the quality of your golden years is up to you. What if I told you that the biggest regrets people have in old age aren't about how much money they made or what titles they held, but rather about the choices they made that shaped their everyday lives? Whether you're nearing retirement, already there, or even a few years away, now is the time to make decisions that will give you peace, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose in your later years. In this video, we're diving into the 10 most common mistakes that people regret in old age, and more importantly, how you can avoid them to live your best life, no matter your age. Stick around to the end because each of these points could change the way you think about your future. 1. Neglecting your health. Let's start with the most obvious yet most ignored mistake, neglecting your health. Taking care of your health now is crucial because the consequences of ignoring it will almost certainly catch up with you. I can't tell you how many stories I've read where people in their later years express regret over not paying attention to their physical and mental well-being sooner. One story that stayed with me was from a man in his 70s who admitted that decades of a sedentary lifestyle led to chronic pain and limited mobility. He could no longer enjoy the things he loved, like hiking or traveling with his friends. His regret wasn't just physical, it was emotional. The realization that his choices led to these limitations hit him hard. What stood out most was his sense of lost opportunity, not just in missed activities, but in missed moments of joy. You don't need to become a gym fanatic to avoid this mistake. Small steps can make a massive difference. Start with daily walks, try out some light yoga, or stretch in the mornings to keep your body moving. Stay on top of your medical appointments and take preventative health measures seriously. Think of your body as your home for the rest of your life. It's up to you to maintain it. Prioritize your health now to buy yourself more freedom and fewer regrets later on. 2. Letting friendships fade. As we get older, life can naturally pull us in different directions. People move, get busy, or circumstances change. But one of the biggest regrets people voice in their later years is losing touch with friends. Loneliness becomes a heavy burden, especially after retirement when you no longer have the daily interactions that come with work or other structured activities. A touching story I came across was from a woman who, after retiring, became so absorbed with family and household responsibilities that she lost contact with her closest friends. Years later, she tried to reconnect, but found it difficult because the friendships had faded beyond repair. She wished she had nurtured those relationships long before her retirement. Friendships provide more than just companionship, they give you a sense of belonging and a support network. So, don't assume friendships will always be there. Make the effort to stay connected. Call, text, or meet up regularly. Join clubs, volunteer, or engage in hobbies where you can meet new people. In the end, strong friendships will be your lifeline, helping you avoid isolation and stay mentally and emotionally healthy. 3. Being too proud to ask for help. There's something about aging that makes many people fiercely independent. We often pride ourselves on being able to do things ourselves, but one of the most crippling mistakes people make is being too proud to ask for help. I remember reading about an older man who resisted help after suffering a fall. His pride got in the way, and instead of reaching out to his children or friends, he chose to struggle alone. The result? His relationships with his family became strained, and he felt more isolated than ever. It wasn't until he finally asked for help that he realized how much he had been missing. His relationships improved, and he felt a sense of relief knowing that people wanted to support him, not because he was weak, but because they cared. There's incredible strength in vulnerability. Asking for help doesn't diminish your independence, it enhances your quality of life. Whether it's for physical tasks, emotional support, or even something as simple as advice, don't push people away. Letting others in allows you to experience life more fully, with less strain and stress. 4. Holding on to grudges and regrets. Grudges are like weights that hold you back, and carrying them into your old age can be one of the biggest emotional burdens. The older we get, the more time we have to reflect on our past, and often, those reflections come with a mixture of pride and regret. But it's the regret that tends to linger. A heartbreaking story I once came across was from an elderly woman who had held a grudge against her sister for over 30 years. They'd had a falling out over something minor, but neither of them was willing to make amends. Tragically, her sister passed away before they could reconcile, leaving the woman with a lifetime of guilt and sadness. It haunted her, and she often talked about how much she wished she had reached out sooner. Holding on to grudges isn't worth the emotional toll. Let go of past hurts and forgive others, not because they always deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Learn from your regrets, but don't let them dictate your future. Life is too short to be weighed down by what could have been. Focus on what still can be, and use your experiences as motivation to move forward with a lighter heart. 5. Living in fear of change. Change can be frightening, especially as we age. Our bodies change, society evolves, and technology advances at a pace that can feel overwhelming. But resisting change is one of the most common mistakes people make as they get older. One memorable story was from a gentleman who stubbornly refused to learn how to use a smartphone. He relied on landlines and snail mail, but over time, this resistance made it harder for him to stay in touch with his children and grandchildren. By the time he decided to embrace technology, he felt he had missed out on countless opportunities to connect with his loved ones. Change is inevitable, and the more you resist it, the more isolated and frustrated you'll feel. Stay open to new experiences, new ideas, and new ways of doing things. Whether it's learning to use new technology, picking up a new hobby, or simply changing your routine, embracing change keeps your mind sharp and your spirit young. Remember, life is about growth, no matter your age. 6. Not planning for the future. Many people make the mistake of thinking that retirement is too far away to start planning for. But the truth is, failing to plan financially and emotionally for your later years can lead to unnecessary stress. I read about a retired couple who shared their struggles online. They had thought their retirement savings would be enough, but rising medical costs and unexpected expenses quickly drained their funds. They ended up having to downsize their home and drastically change their lifestyle. Their story was a stark reminder that retirement planning needs to account for more than just basic living expenses. Don't leave your future to chance. Start planning now, whether it's saving more, budgeting smarter, or thinking about how you want to spend your time in retirement. The more prepared you are, the more freedom you'll have to enjoy your later years without financial worry. 7. Losing your sense of purpose. One of the biggest emotional challenges people face in old age is the loss of purpose. Retirement can leave you questioning what you're supposed to do with your time, especially if you've spent your entire life working or raising a family. An empty nest or the loss of a spouse can intensify these feelings. An elderly woman in an online forum shared her struggle with depression after retiring. Her entire identity had been tied to her career, and without it, she felt lost. But eventually, she found new purpose in volunteering and mentoring younger people. Her message was clear: purpose isn't something you lose with age, it's something you can redefine. Your life still has meaning, no matter your age. You may not be working a 9-to-5 job, but you have knowledge, experience, and wisdom to offer. Whether it's spending time with family, volunteering, or learning new skills, find what gives your life meaning and pursue it with passion. As long as you have something to wake up for, your days will be filled with purpose. 8. Not prioritizing mental health. Mental health is often overlooked in older adults, but maintaining a healthy mind is just as important as caring for your body. Many older adults struggle with depression, anxiety, or cognitive decline, but don't seek help because they assume it's just a part of aging. One conversation I remember vividly was with an elderly woman who shared her experience of losing her husband. After his passing, she felt emotionally numb but didn't think to seek help. She thought it was natural to feel this way. Over time, her depression worsened, and it wasn't until her daughter insisted on her seeing a therapist that she realized she didn't have to suffer in silence. Mental health is essential at any age. If you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or isolated, reach out for help. Talk to a therapist, join a support group, or simply open up to a trusted friend. Keeping your mind healthy will make all the difference in how you experience the challenges of aging. 9. Not downsizing or simplifying when necessary. Many people hold on to possessions or live in a home that's too large for their needs, thinking they'll always want the space or the things they've collected over the years. But not downsizing or simplifying can become a burden. I read about an older couple who struggled to maintain their large home after their children had moved out. They thought they needed the space for family gatherings, but as time went on, they realized the house was more work than they could handle. When they finally decided to downsize, they felt liberated, not just physically, but emotionally and financially as well. Less clutter and fewer responsibilities mean more freedom. Consider simplifying your life now, whether that means decluttering your home or downsizing to a smaller, more manageable space. It will lighten your load and give you more time and energy for the things you truly enjoy. 10. Avoiding conversations about end-of-life planning. Finally, one of the most difficult yet important conversations you'll need to have is about end-of-life planning. Many people avoid this discussion, but it's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. A powerful story I read was about a woman whose father passed away suddenly without ever discussing his wishes for his care or funeral arrangements. The uncertainty and disagreements among her siblings made an already painful time even more difficult. She shared how much easier things would have been if her father had been open about his preferences. Having a plan in place is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself and your loved ones. Don't wait until it's too late. Talk to your family about your wishes, and make sure your legal documents, your will, power of attorney, and advance directives are in order. These conversations may be uncomfortable, but they provide peace and clarity for everyone involved.